Hello my friends and welcome back to Coffee Tea Paper. Last weekend I was fortunate enough to go to the World of Wonder exhibition featuring Margot McKinney's epic jewellery designs, and I enjoyed a lovely high tea with my daughter and her godmother. So we had a wonderful time together, and I thought I might try and share a bit of that with you guys here. So the exhibit was really interesting. This room, for example, was set up to be reminiscent of an opal mine with rough textured walls, and the jewelry pieces were in these glowing display cases reminiscent of the hollows in the mine. And this room all featured pieces all with pearls, giant pearls the size of, bigger than Malteser sized pearls. And that room felt like you were underwater, like maybe in a submarine or a underwater station or something. And the final room in the exhibit featured some of the gowns worn by Margot McKinney to various events and some of her other jewellery pieces as well. So it was a really interesting exhibit overall. And and then we were fortunate enough to enjoy the very last high tea that was put on by Dandelion Driftwood, which is a cafe that I actually really enjoy going to. I like the food. So here's a little sneak peek of my coffee and the wonderful high tea arrangement. Because I'm boring and have dietary requirements, mine was a little less exciting than everyone else's, but even so, I struggled. I got through all the savoury stuff, but I couldn't eat all the sweet stuff. In fact, I think I just had the scone. Anyway, but I picked up this really nice booklet and this postcard from the exhibit, and the little card that noted the collaboration between the Museum of Brisbane and Dandelion and Driftwood. So it was a really lovely day, and the beautiful thing of being able to go to these exhibits, and when they have such really nice material like booklets and postcards and little cards, it's just perfect to journal with. I really liked that green room, which sort of touched on the history of the McKinney family, which is quite a prominent family here in Brisbane. They're very entrepreneurial, and because the green walls were actually VJ walls, which is very typical of Queenslander houses, and indeed my house, though my walls aren't bright green, they're just like an off-white, so not that exciting. But yeah, very typical, the VJs, which stands for vertical joins, so vertical joined walls, and generally they're just a single skin to keep you hot in summer and cold in winter. And I didn't get that the wrong way round. So I'm just going through this booklet and seeing what pieces I want to use for my page. And so I really was taken with that opal room. I actually not that keen on opals themselves, but I really liked the concept of that room design of being in the opal mine, and the colours in there, the beautiful sort of ochre, rough textured walls, and very organic windows to look at the display cases really caught my imagination. A lot of the pieces were just very intricate. Anyway, so having those lovely pieces to play with in my journal really took up most of the page. And then I just thought, oh, it would be fun to do a bit of a doodly doodle of my high tea. What do you call those things? High tea stand, maybe? High tea riser? I don't know. And then I saw over on Hello, My Name is Beck's YouTube channel, she received a lovely happy mail from one of her happy mailers groups, and they had used this really interesting technique of using paint pens to make marks on the papers, and it really sort of tied it all together. And I thought, because this was a very much a cut and paste job this week, I thought that might be an interesting technique to try here, to use those sort of paint marks to bring it all together. And yes, and so now I'm just doing my little doodly doodle of my plate with the serviette with the little card on it, and of course my high tea. Now Penny from Dandelion Driftwood gave us a beautiful little explanation of everything that was on our stand, and it was very much inspired by the jewels on display. So unfortunately I can't remember it all. I was just sitting there trying to take it all in and enjoy the experience. And yeah, that's it was a lot to remember. I remember the macaron, which I actually didn't end up eating. I was too full. In fact, the top tier with the cupcakes and the macaron and the tarts and things, I couldn't. It was just too sweet for me. But I really liked the idea of it. So the macaron was a lime soda, and the cupcake was a fairy floss or candy floss take, and they were decorated with little sugar pearls to tie back with the pearls. And down below I took the liberty of drawing the bottom a tier of my daughter and her godmother's stand, because theirs was a little bit more interesting than mine. There was a little salmon blini that had caviar on top, which was meant to be reminiscent of the black pearls that were featured in the exhibit. And there was a charcoal bun with something delicious inside. Oh dear. I couldn't remember it all. There was a lot to take in. But needless to say, it was all very delicious and very enjoyable. I was hoping to get a bit of video of the outside, because the Museum of Brisbane is actually in the Brisbane City Town Hall, which is quite a lovely building. However, the weather was absolutely appalling. It was really, really wet and rainy and windy, and yes, so I thought, I'm gonna wait, and one day I'm gonna go and do a bit of an excursion and take you all on a little bit of a tour of Brisbane and some of my favourite parts in it, but on a nice day. not a miserable day. So yes, so I didn't really get much footage or photos, and I wasn't sure if I was allowed to take photos in the exhibit either. And apart from that, I think the booklet that I shared at the beginning probably did a much better job of having beautiful photos of the displays regardless. Yeah, so I've done a few videos this week, so this is just a little short one here. I'm running out of time, but I hope you enjoyed a little look at the exhibit and the high tea, and I hope you have a wonderful week and that you've got something to look forward to this weekend, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Oh, and I should say, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. It would be lovely to have you join us here.